How's it going, guys, and welcome back to Let's Build. In this episode, I think we are going to attempt maybe like a hybrid of sorts. Let's try and build. We're going to definitely do a hovercraft, but we'll maybe make this hovercraft VTOL hovercraft, kind of hybridize the two together. I don't know, it's kind of what I had in my head. Let's see what we end up with, shall we? Alright, we're going to start with our seat. Right here. Bang. Build mode we go. Okay, so in my head, I sees something similar to this. So, we're going to have 4 points out like this. These are going to be our arms that our hover pads are going to be connected to. Out here on the ends, but I don't want them to just be down normally. I want them to be able to get up and out of the way. So I'm going to attempt to, let's see, if we bring those up to, let's say, about here, kind of like this, and then turn it. I want to turn it so my connection point is here on the inside. I'm going to try and glitch our hover pads up into our legs here, and then we're going to have some VTOL thrusters on here so we can get up in the air, but when we come down, our hover pads will come down and that'll be our landing gear. Instead of wheels or whatever, we'll be able to hover, theoretically. Let's see if we can make it happen. So we're going to copy one of these over to this side as well. Our hover pad is going to sit under here, right in between these ones like this. Yeah, we'll try it like that. Now we got to secure these pistons up here somehow, so we'll come here. Of course, we'll go with the almighty deuce. We'll stand that up right in front of the piston here, copy it over to this side, and then it's going to be a matter of just connecting these tops. You could use it with a single piece, or you could use a couple of these. Again, kind of just placeholders for the moment. So these are going to be set on their default to start at 0. Speed will be 1, that's fine. We want them to auto reset. As far as the controls, let's make that E. E to extend those out. E, we'll toggle that. So it should start in. E will extend those out, and let's build that in. Beauty. As you can see, the hover pad is now glitched inside, so when we get inside here, we can hit E, and it will push it down and push us out, and E should bring it back in. And we are also going to set that so that they turn off once they come in. Maybe we do, I wonder if we can set a sensor right here and set it nice and close, like 0.5. And what that's going to do is it's going to activate our hover pad. So the hover pad should come up to here in front of this sensor, which will turn off the hover pad. Let's see if that's what happens. Oh, look. A silent hover pad. It's a thing of beauty. And E will bring it down, turns back on. E brings it up. Alright, so let's do that to all 4 sides, shall we? Okay, so let's build that in. Make sure it doesn't freak out. We jump in and the hover pads turn off. The only downside to those sensors turning them off is that only activates when we're in the seat. As soon as we jump out of the seat, hover pads are on. Let's see how we're going to deal with that issue. And it's fine while we're in the seat, which I guess is really all we're concerned about because we're not in it. It doesn't exist as far as we know. Alright, back into build mode. Okay, so those are going to come up like that. That's all going to be fine and dandy. So now we need our VTOL stuff to lift us into the airs. The airs. So maybe we can put those, eeny, meeny, miny, mino. Maybe we can go with a servo here. Maybe. Without interfering with too much stuff. Let's see. We put one there and we put one here, and then we put a thruster on it. Put a thruster on it, eh? Just like that. Yeah, even with the ground. Same level down here. Those can stay on space. That's all fine and dandy. Let's see if that works. Build that in. Jump in. Oh, right, they're sticking down one further than that, so we have to lift those thrusters up one more square, because when we're on the ground, we don't want it to be touching. Like that, and jump in to turn those hover pads off. Space bars are thrust. That's obviously not enough to do anything unless we hit E, and we go hover mode. Oh, here we go, loop-de-loop-de-loo. Okay, so we do want those to rotate, but not quite like that. Okay, so we're going to copy one of these thrusters to, see, I'm wondering, do I keep them two in there on the sides, or I can symmetrically bring them out onto here? Oh, this way it gives us more room to add yet another one here, and another one here. Come see, come sa. Now, if we set these, this one's going to rotate green, this one's going to rotate green. We want those to go green on E, sends that down number 1. Let's say we'll toggle number 1 to rotate those forward. Speed will be at 0.1, or let's say 0.3. A little quicker, and we want these to be at 90. Do the same thing over here on these ones, except these ones are going to be going red. Red rotate number 1 toggle, and that will be 0.3 for speed and 90 for the angle, just like that. And so we should be able to jump in there, hit the space bar, get in the air, up we go. A little bit of seat control here, hit number 1, they rotate forward, and away we go. It's a wee bit of heavy in the back, and they're rotated like that, but that's okay, we haven't got any wings or anything on there, so we can rotate those back like that. Let's see if we can turn it around like this. There we go, little taps back down to the ground. And as we come down to the ground, we hit E, and that puts our hover pads out for a nice smooth hover landing as we drift across the ship. Hit number 1, go forward, up in the air, get rid of those hover pads, up they go. So see, now we can actually put some, see, it's fairly balanced, we can put some of those helicopter engines spinning in there for stabilizers. Come on, up you go. We're pretty close to our thrust limit here for weight. Ta-da! Now what do we do from this point? So now we got VTOL. We need some wingses. Let's try putting some wings up here. Maybe backwards, like that. And then copy this one and spin it right around, like that. So if we have wings like this, copy these to the back. Let's build that in and see what happens. Okay, thrust. It's all good there. And number 1. Okay, we still get a rotate. We've got a wee bit more stability in the air flying forward this way. Still a little heavy in the backside, so we'll just have to add a couple of more wings back there to give it some lift. And see, it's nice, you can't even see the hovers, right, unless you look from underneath. The hover pads are hidden, which is great. That's what we want, hidden to things. So we'll get back to over here, and then we'll try pulling out our hover pads for our landing gear and see how that works. Alright, like that. We'll hit E. We get a wee bit of a boost. We bounce and we go right off like this. But hey, can we land on the water as well? Are we going fast enough? We can. Look at that, water landing. Impressive. And then up we go. VTOL, get rid of the hovers. Now we just need some forward thrust action. Kind of boom. See, when we rotate like that, then our thrust is a little low on our center of gravity, so it's wanting to push us up, which is all fine because I can put a thruster in the back to balance that. Let's go back to the spawn point. back into the building mode. We're going to put our wee bit of a thruster on the back. Now this is going to add more weight to the back as well, so we want to try and keep our weight as balanced as possible, even though we're going to be... So if I move this seat maybe ahead 2 squares, just 2, only 2, and then we'll put a wee thruster on the back side, hopefully a wee bit higher than where those ones are sitting. So we might need to go up one more like that. And that thruster is going to be set to go off with number 1, so that when it rotates, that one will stay on. That one kicks in to go forward. Alright, let's try that. So thrust, getting near our weight limit here, so for 4 thrusters anyways. Then we'll go number 1. Okay, that doesn't lower the nose quite significantly. It allows us to fly fairly straightish. Okay. And even when we let go of space, that 1 thruster is going to stay on, and because we have a decent amount of wings on there, it'll keep us in the air a wee bit. We can rotate those back around for VTOL landing, and then we can maybe just keep that on like that and bring these out. Then we can use that as our... Ooh, see, it's a little high. Or, oh, we lost one of our hover pads. Captain, whatever are we gonna do? Spin it around. Pop out your hover pads. Ooh, I didn't like that. We don't have any steering, said the ship to the rock. Up you go. Oh no, little late on that one. Alright, here we go. Back to the spawn point. So yeah, at least we have that jet that can push us forward. So now we're just going to need some steering. So we can either go with little thrusters in the front, or we can go with just a simple helicopter engine on the top. Now I find that's actually the simplest for steering, because not only will that work in the air, it'll work on your hovercraft when you're in the water, it'll work when you're standing still. It's like tank steering, all of that in one simple piece. It may not be the best looking piece for steering, but it works. It works well. So that's all that matters. It doesn't have to look good. It just has to work. Heard someone say that before. Okay, let's test to make sure that this is set to the right steering. We're going left. We're going right. Well, not if we don't have hover pads out. We're not. This way and this way. Okay, that's pretty good. We can hit number 1. So now we have our bit of a forward thrust, which is unfortunately pushing the nose down a bit. So we have some steering. Let's see, we'll turn that off, turn these on, so that we can drop down here. All safe like. Still have our hover pads on, so we should be able to land on the water. We can turn that on, get those forward. And our hovercraft is doing 200 kilometers an hour. No problemo, 210. We got some steering. Again, I still don't like the way it's pushing the nose down like that. It's just gonna drop into the water. But we'll fix that with some stabilizer fins. So we've got that going like that. Now we can hit number 1. That'll take us up into the air. Number 1 again. Take us into flight mode. E will get rid of our... Oh, look at that. Oh, I thought we were gonna pull it out. Nah, no such luck. Not too shabby to shabby, as to quote someone else once said. Alright, so that's not too bad so far. Now we need to worry about... Okay, small thrusters in this little 2 gap here. We're going to lay it down. I'm going to lay it down easy. Like this. So we're going to go with 4 of these right in here. 2 in the front, 2 in the back like that. So that we can take this and lower it down and bring this thruster down, so it's not pushing so much down when we're in hover mode. So when we jump in, we hit E, we get hover mode. Space will activate those 4 tiny thrusters, which will give us a bit of forward thrust. As you can see, we're starting to get heavy enough where we can't take off. We get rid of the hover pads. The little thrusters are kicking in with space as well. Those should probably be set to 1. So we'll pop up the hover pads. Hit number 1. That doesn't seem to be pushing so bad on the front. Now if we hit all of our thrusters, hopefully our wings will keep us level. Seem to be fairly balanced. 223 kilometers an hour. As long as you tap your steering, tap, 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 tap. Don't want to slow down too much or else you'll end up in the drink with the hover pads. So that's not too bad. We'll stick some stabilizers on there. So we'll go air mode. Get rid of the hover pads. Go into thrust mode, jet mode. The front end still wants to go up a bit when we're in jet mode. That's okay. We can take care of that by adding another transforming piece. That's going to extend out the front with some pistons. That'll change our weight distribution when we go into this mode. But we will need vertical stabilizers, horizontal stabilizers. So we are going to put a couple of these like this. This will be more weight as well. So like that. And then, like I said, out the front here, what we're going to do is take a couple of pistons. Like this. Copy that one out that way. We are going to, let's see, get rid of that. And then go to our squares. Grab that square there. And 1. And 2. Then we're going to grab some slope pieces. We're going to put our slope pieces up here. Like this. So that will get pulled back that way. And then we're going to go with maybe some inverted 1x3 slopes under the front end here. Like this. And like that. These will start in. It'll auto reset. 1 is a good speed. You want those to extend when we hit number 1. Sure. Toggle. Okay, so let's check that out. Build that in. So we hit E. That puts us into this mode. So we should probably set our forward thrusters to W. So we'll set these wee tiny ones here to W. So we have hover pads with E. W pushes us forward. See, I don't like the way that drops the nose down either. Using W for forward. Okay, so then we still have our spacebar for vertical lift. We're still able to get into the air. Barely. Barely. Okay, and then number 1. And E gets rid of the hover pads. Whoa! Okay. So the front end came popping out. Pushing W, I am still able to bring it down so it flies level, but as soon as I let go of W, it wants to go up. That's okay. So we added that extra fins in the back. It is flying straighter. So we still do have control, but we still need a wee bit more style, I reckon. A wee bit more jet looking. So number 1 gets rid of those, rotates that, pulls in the nose. Then we should be able to come down here like this, and E gives us that little boost when our hover pads come out. So we should be able to land like this and then continue with our W. We could hit number 1 here as well, which will turn on our middle thruster on top. And then spacebar adds in our side thrusters if you want. Super speed. Super land hover speed. Something like that. And then number 1, get into the air, pull up the hover pads, go into jet mode. Yeah, that's not too bad. So far it looks like we got a flying box kite. It's just a square. So now we can actually start making it look decent. Let's go back to the spawn point. Back into build mode. And let's give it some style. So we want to add some vertical stabilizers out the front. Should I say horizontal stabilizers? Do we want them low or high? Let's try high. We'll put those up high like that. That can go under that way. The bottom is going to be flat. These come up. We'll maybe put a wee bit of, let's see, maybe some sloped pieces like this down here. One there and one over here. Let's see if that interferes. All kinds of sparks. So that looks pretty cool on the front side until we hit E. Oh, okay, it glitches through. Alright. Sometimes the things that are connected to the pistons don't necessarily, if there's more than one thing connected, then it won't want to glitch through anything. It's got to be like something that's directly connected to the piston itself for the glitch to work. Okay, well that seems to work. Looks like we're going to have to, I think we're going to have to add more vertical lift. We may have to add a thruster in the middle there where we had our servos originally, because see, at the moment I have not enough lift to even get us off the ground. I would not consider that lift. That's like drag. Okay, so that works there. Now we need a little bit more lift in the back, so I think we can do that simply by extending this wing out like that, and then we can put horizontal stabilizer here. If it'll let us, it will, and then back this way as well. See, I mean, we could even actually go a little wider to try and give it that jet shape. Jet shape like this. Oh, hey. Trying to do that, lad. This one, copy. Thank you. Out like this, onto there. Yoast like that. So if we do that, I wonder, could I get rid of these and put a couple of these up here like this? Then we're really going to have a jet shape. Alright, so I'm going to build that in. Let's have a look, see. Everything slaps together. No sparks, nothing exploded. Hit the old space bar, and definitely not going to have enough to do anything at this point. So let's try E and bring up our hover pads. And it looked like we might actually need more than just the 4 hover pads if we're going to start adding more weight like that. Yeah. Now it's getting heavy in the front. It is. It's getting kind of heavy. So number 1, kick in that one there, and that's going to compress those front hover pads. See if we can get vertical here. Get rid of the hover pads. No. Nope. We are not a submarine. But we could be. Maybe the next video we're going to do submarine. Flying submarine. So we need more hover pads. So we're going to put one. Where are we going to put this one? I'd like to put them out wider, or possibly out the front. Then I know what that'll look like if we get rid of these. And copy that out that way. And then put another one over here. Like that. Is that going to work? Let's see. Well, at least they turn off like that. So they're up. They're kind of out of the way. Doesn't look too bad. E. Well, they do pop out through there, but at least the front end's got some lift on it now. You see that? That's much better. Number 1 will give us our thrust, and it'll rotate our thrusters. And we give it some of this. Number 1 will get us hopefully into the air. No, it'll get us into the ocean. So can we take off if we hit number 1 with no hover pads? Well, let's use our hover pads as takeoff gear. We have that. Can we take off? Nope, we cannot. We can crash really good. Okay, so hover pads. Yeah, I don't like the way it's hitting those. Okay, so we might need to move these out like that. Well, they move with the hover pads. So something like that. Okay, now we want number 1 and forward. See, actually, I'm going to make all those little ones number 1 as well. So that's going to be number 1 toggled. So those are going to come on just like this one is number 1. So we should be able to build this in. So I'd rather be able to pull back on the nose with W and S rather than pushing W as forward. So number 1 should give us our forward thrust. We have steering as a hovercraft. This currently works. Let's see if we can get it to land on the water from this state. Definitely not, as it nosedives into oblivion. Okay, so we need airplane controls now. So we are going to go back into build mode, and we are going to find the best place to put some controls for this puppy. I think they're going to be on this set of wings. Just a small amount. Well, actually, we could put them back here too. Maybe this. We move that out. Move that out. Then we can pop a servo. Pop a servo. In here. Come see. And bring this one to here. We could probably drop them down as long as they're not in the way of anything. And then we're going to set these as our lift. So we got green back there, red back here. So red is going to be S and W, and speed we'll say it's 0.5, angle of 45 we'll say 30. Start with that. So speed here is going to be 0.5, angle will be 30. Green is back, S, and that's W is forward. Alright, let's build that in. Now let's see if we put our hover pads out with E and number 1 for our forward thrust. Can we get... Oh yeah, we got lots of lift, lots of control. My controls are backwards. Let's go back and set my controls normal so I can actually fly like an eagle. So I'm going to change the speed of those down to 0.2. 30 degrees is lots. Yeah, let's try it with 30. So like that, we jump in, extend hover pads with E, hit number 1 for our thrust. Nose pops out, thrusters kick in, thrusters rotate, we pull back, up we go, we get rid of the hover pads. Still wants to nosedive. That's because we have so much lift in the back. So many lifts in the back, lads. Alright, so we can put some slope pieces in there to make it look fancy. And we might need another vertical stabilizer here as we drift sideways. So pull those out, pull these out. Can we do a VTOL landing with our hover pads? Ooh, no, 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 not so much. Still heavy in the front. On the water. Nope. We need more thrust in the front. Something just a wee bit more for lift. So what we're going to do is put a wee couple of mini thrusters along here, facing upwards, close to the front. Like that and like that. And I'm going to leave them there, and I'm going to see... Yeah, those are going to be set on space. That's all good. Let's see if this actually builds. Whew, okay. Always risky when you're trying to glitch something new through something that already exists, because it could mess up the whole thing. Okay, spacebar. Still don't have enough lift to vertically take off. Oh, 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 wow. Okay. So, once we bring out our hover pads, still don't have enough lift. Be that way. Two can play that game. So we're just going to put a couple of more little tiny thrusters here on the back side. Right here on the back side. Join the back side. Okay, like this. Those can stay as space. Let's get here. Try the old space bar. Can we take off vertically? Oh, we're still a wee bit heavy in the front. Heavy in the front. So what are we gonna do about that? Maybe we can move these out to here, like that. Let's try that. Ooh, let's see, he doesn't like that too much. Alright, spacebar. Come on, lift, lift, lift. Really? Okay, hover pads. Oh, and a bunch of stuff breaks off. That's not going to work. Alright, so these ones are not working unless, even still, if they're out here. Because I want to slide back inside underneath when I hit E. Yeah, they don't get out the way fast enough. Okay, so that means the next location for these is going to be right here. Connected to these here, hover pads. Spin it right round and down here like that. And then we might even need to copy these and spin them around and put them back here where they actually worked. Like this. Oh. Alright, and let's try that. Now watch, it's going to be way light in the front. Told you. That's okay, that's okay. We can deal with that as long as we got the lift. Like that, we can use our seat steering to control what we're doing there and our fins. That's all good. So that's straight up, and now we can pull those hover pads out. Okay, everything is still working, we're still level. Okay, let's swing it around. Okay, let's do a water landing on the hover pads. Like that. We're still capable of being on the water. It's a wee bit bouncy. Hey, hey, hey. Come on now. So we might want to strengthen our steering just a little bit. It's not working so good as a hovercraft when steering in the water. So we might want to make that a little bit stronger. That's just number 1 that we have right now. Puts it at 100. If we hit the spacebar when we're down here, that should take us over 200 if we can even stay on the water. Yeah, see, it wants to take off. Take off, eh, poser? Okay, like that. So let's take off into the air, hit E, get them hover pads tucked up and turned off. See how she flies as a jet. See, we still got all that upward thrust when I'm hitting the space bar. So, we might actually need to make our forward thrusters a different key other than space. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, those seem to turn real fast, man. Really fast, man. Okay, so we're coming in for landing. Hover pads out. Rotate our thrusters. Coming in for vert landing. Hover pads out. Landing. Hover pads in. Landing complete. Okay, we need aerodynamics in the front, which are going to be... Oh, nope, that's not it. That one. Say it like this. Like that. I don't like this sloping up like that, so we're going to get rid of that. And that is going to be 3s. Flat block like this, so that we can extend this out to a point like that. So now we got those like that. We can even grab our most useless piece in the game. This weird little tiny, you know, it's weird that I say that a lot, yet you see me use it in a lot of videos, right? How can it be the most useless when you use it all the time? Doesn't that make it the most useful? No, it does not. Okay, so we got that like that. As far as aesthetics go, that's all good, that's all fine. We've got a bit of a gap in there. Wonder if we can just fill that with a couple of wee tiny angled pieces like this, and copy those to the back one. It's tricky. It's very tricky sometimes. Trying to decide what your controls are going to be when you don't know how to use logic. Another thruster in here. As long as that's not touching anything, that should be okay. We'll leave that at space. Ah, right. We want it to strengthen our steering. I'm going to make that 5. Pull out the hover pads. Give us a spin around. A wee bit of space. Space will take us vertically up. Get rid of the hover pads. Number 1. Rotates our thruster forward. Oh, that doesn't look very good on the front end, eh? Aye, those middle jets, they're not, it's not supposed to be doing that. It's not supposed to do that. Okay, so these ones are not going to work because they stay, unless. So we could go with a couple more servos. And on there, I'm not sure if we'll be able to, but we can try. And we put this like that. So this one should go green. Speed of 1, angle at 90. Let's try that. So now we can vertical takeoff. Hit number 1. Everything rotates. Get rid of the hover pads. Front end is a little bulky, it looks a little silly, so we're going to maybe take care of that. And we still need a little bit more vertical stabilization. Whoa, 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 what's going on here? See, it's all those little thrusters pushing up that's causing a great amount of distress. Let's put the hover pads out. Let's do a bit of a water landing. Come on. Oh, really? Can't work every time, right? We want to slow these down a wee bit. Just because they're a wee bit overpowered. Speed 0.1, and the angle will be 20 because we don't need to be doing any fancy maneuvering. So like that, and this front looks like trash. I want to try and basically keep that aerodynamic up here, right? But I don't want it to be big and bulky looking like that. Something like this. And then we can copy one out down like this. Maybe that one's even rotated inwards. Like that. Let's try that. Okay, it looks a little weird like that, but then when we hit number 1, yeah, it's not too bad. We still have flight capability. Get rid of those. Yeah, the front doesn't look too bad. I still don't like those mini thrusters pushing me up. Okay, and where do we have room for? Looking for a place to put another vertical stabilizer. Back to the drawing board. Here we go. So let's let's go left shift for the mini thrusters. Just spacebar. Flips us over like that because we don't have any other extreme thruster or any big thrusters in the front. And now that we've got these extra ones in the middle, we've got way too much thrust at the back end. Will this work? Copy these out and bring them here to our front hover pad. These gotta go. Okay, try that. What do you think of that? Okay, hover pads out. Steering, thrusting. Ooh. Oh. Okay, I think we can get rid of these little ones up front now. Because we got big ones up front now. And these can go right back to here. Like that. Oh. From there. What's that? You like that? Is that better? Like that. Now up. Whoa. Still way too much thrust in the front here. Okay, so we're just going to D2. Hey. We're going to detune these ones. Tune down the power on them. Let's make the speed 0.5. Let's try that. Okay, vertical lift, hover pads in. Let's hit number 1. Forward thrust. Oh, really? Left shift gives us our additional little bit of boost. Like this, number 1. Pull up the hover pads. Ooh, that was nasty. Okay, why can we not fly? Come on now. Don't be like that. Okay, E, bring them hover pads out. Number 1, rotate them thrusters. Come on, get me in the air. Get me in the air. In the air. Why are we going down? That's okay, I got hover pads out. Is that... Oh, see? Bloop. Maybe we don't need these here pistons sticking out here now. Maybe we can just bring these ones here and here. Bring them right on in. Just like that. Come on back now. And this one here. Hover pads down. All is well. We want some forward. Oh, that's the up stuff. Okay, so spacebar alone will get us into the air. Okay, let's get those hover pads up. And number 1 for jet mode. Keep the nose up. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. At least we don't have that weird behavior with those thrusters from the bottom. We might need to set our angle back up to 30 for our lift. Let's see, hover pads down. Water landing still capable. Oh, still wants to dive down on the back side. Okay, so we're going to change this, set this rotation back to 30 degrees. So as we can get our lift happening, and then we're going to get a bits of rotation by adding an XOR gate right here. Bada boom. And we're going to make that A and D. And we're going to select these here servos so that we can turn with them as well as get lift. So now we're going to try it. Make sure that they set to the right keys. Looks right. Looks right. So space bar. And pull up them hovers. Pull them up. There you go. We got some lift like that. We got our VTOL number 1. It's going to rotate us forwards. Now we got some good steering. Oh, wow, that's super sensitive steering. We might want to change the output on that a wee bit. And we got some flat pieces there out front there where we need to put some aerodynamics pieces. Right in there and them empty gaps. We got to fill that in and we're going to fly lots faster. Okay, let's see if we can pull off a water landing. Whoa! Oh, you see? We did. We landed in the water, right? Successful water landing. I need that left shift to be these ones on top here. These here ones. It's the left shift ones. So them there's going to be the ones that we use when we's in hover mode. So when we got our hover pads out, we can use left shift, and we're gonna turn this way, and we can hover. It's not It's not the fastest hover in the world. But if we want speed, we can hit number 1. That'll rotate that. Right, number 1 gives us our extra little thruster in the back there. Come on, come on. Yeah, so you might need a wing piece underneath the front end just to give it that little bit of extra lift when we're coming down like that. See, so we can do 100 kilometers an hour. That's just left shift and number 1 hit. So we can hit our spacebar now. That should add a lot more speed. 220. Oh, and down she goes. Might need to add a single wing piece like this. Just underneath this section right there, like that. Yeah, it looks like we might need another hover pad in the back. It's kind of low. That's okay in the water though, right? So left shift gives us a bit more lift with those little tiny thrusters and forward thrust. So this gets you around as a hovercraft. Then you get to the edge and you can hit spacebar, which will give you a little bit vertical lift. You can get you down to the water. And you can use the rest of your left shift little mini thrusters here to build you up to speed, up to about 60. Up to when you get up to 70, you can hit number 1. And that's going to kick in that extra thruster. It's going to get you up to near 100, and then you hit spacebar. And spacebar by itself is going to get you up over 200, and then it's going to send you to drink. So that's when you won't take off in the air. You don't want to go down. You want to go up. So we might, maybe we just gonna put, a little bit downdraft here in the back, just a little bit, rootin' tootin' tarnation. Okay, so hopefully that's gonna be all right like that, and we're gonna put those there, and then we need a little bit more go straight in the front here. So we're gonna put maybe a couple of these little ones right here, right there. We're gonna do that, just like that. And now we're gonna give it a little bit of color. We're gonna make it color. We're gonna make it. Let's make it blue, like a light blue like this, or maybe dark blue. Make it all mill like. All right, like that. Let's try it like that. All right, vertical takeoff. Check. Vertical landing. Not broken. Check. Hovercraft mode. Check. Left shift for thrust. We have steering on the hover pad. This is more for maneuvering to your takeoff position than anything else, or being on the water, I guess, because it's not super fast. So now let's try taking off. We're gonna hit number 1, jet mode, spacebar, and away we go. Now we're gonna get rid of them hover pads. There they go, all tucked up nice and purty like. So now we're flying like this. Oh right, we wanted to change the sensitivity on that XOR gate too. Send out like maybe a 0.5 signal rather than a full signal for steering on those back wings. So we could fly, as you can see, we'd be flying. We alright, fly pretty straight. So you want to wobble back and forth a little bit, but that's not too bad. 200 kilometers an hour. Let's bring them hover pads out. There we go. Oh, settle down now. Bring her down on the water, nice and easy. Oh, this ain't gonna go well. Yeah, we slowed down too much. Too slow. Down you go. All right, let's try that again. Give ourselves a little bit of lift till we get out on the water here. We need to get up around 60 kilometers an hour. We want to stay afloat, like this. And then we use our left shift, little thrust, little tap tap. There we go. We is hovering. Number 1 will give us a single thruster in the back, as well as our left shift down. This is going to get us up over 100. Now I can let go of left shift and just that single thruster, I wonder if that's going to keep me above the water. Yeah, it looks like it's going to keep me going fast enough. I'm slowing down a wee bit. Down to 80, 85. So it looks like you can just, like that, and you can just steer now. Don't steer too sharp or you end up in the water. And then we can hit the space bar and pull back on the stick and get up in the air and get rid of them hover pads. Be in jet mode and fly back to the carrier. So we're going to come in like this, and then we're going to hit number 1. Going to give us our rotate for our vertical landing. We're going to try and control that. We're going to hit E to bring out our landing gear. This is our hover pads. We're going to land like this. We're going to spin it right round, left shift. Use our little thrusters to bring us over to our landing point once again. And as we're coming by this way like this, we say, okay, that's about it. We're going to pull up them hover pads and be all landed like. Ta-da! So there you go, guys. That is a Hovercraft VTOL jet big thingy, kind of a hybrid. So that was fun. That's kind of cool. That's the way, again, the building goes. You never know what the hell you're going to end up with. Alright, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave a comment, and we will see you in the next one. Ciao.